Priorities versus lifestyle. What's the difference? Now, let's be honest. We all love comfort. Don't we all? But there's a huge difference between what's an asset and what's a liability. So in pursuit of comfort, we need to focus on pursuing assets. Otherwise, we'll end up with liabilities and we'll never build assets. So a lot of people spend their income, their revenues on liabilities. Yet they complain that the cost of assets keep increasing. Now let's unpack this. Do we know that especially in the Nigeria of today, there's a huge difference between looking rich and being rich or becoming rich? A lot of us focus on looking rich, but we actually don't focus on becoming or being rich. You just want to fit in with the Joneses, drive that same kind of car that people drive, live in the same area that people live in, whether we own the homes or not. But at the end of the day, we are building on liabilities and never really building wealth. So what's a liability? My first degree is in accounting and finance, and we were taught in school to understand assets as anything tangible. So a car, for so many years, to my understanding, was an asset. Then the rude awakening came. An asset, truly, usually, is something that brings you income, that generates income for you. A liability is mostly something that you have to spend on to maintain. So how's a car an asset? If I buy a car, I have to maintain it, I have to service it, I have to put petrol in it, engine oil in it, and all of those things. I spend on it. Now, except if I'm in the taxi business or Uber business as it is today, and the car is generating income for me, then it's not an asset, it's a liability. So do I need a car to get to work necessarily? Maybe yes. But that then determines what sort of car I'm buying and how much I'm willing to spend on buying a car. How much of my funding do I allocate to an asset class like that? Because it's not going to generate revenue for me in itself. But an asset, on the other hand, is something that keeps bringing streams of income to you. Streams of income. It keeps growing the base, so you can revalue it. Like a property, for example, it may give you rent, so you get rental income, but the property itself continues to appreciate in value. That's a huge difference. But a car, just drive it out of the showroom, and maybe 20% is gone already, just from driving it out of the showroom. For a lot of cars, it's no longer brand new. It doesn't matter if it's got 2,000 miles on it or 1,000 kilometers on it. Once you've driven it out of that showroom, it's lost value already. Once you've registered it in your name, value is gone. So, are we keeping up with the Joneses, or are we building true wealth? Admonition to you today is focus on assets, things that will bring you income, that will generate income. And education can be an asset if it's going to generate income for you. Prioritize your spending, not the lifestyle that you want to live, right? There's something called delayed gratification. If you've ever heard that term before, if you haven't, just Google it. Delay that gratification. Most wealthy people prioritize. They put majority of their funding into assets, and then they wait for the returns on those assets to fund their lifestyle. And again, it's a simple thing. What's your seed? What's your harvest? If you eat your seed, then there's no harvest to come. But if you plant your seed, when the harvest comes, you eat out of the harvest, and then you replant again for seasons to come in future. That's the principle of life. God taught us that already. So never eat your seed. Put it in the ground, let it germinate, and then eat out of the harvest while you replant a lot of that harvest again to generate more harvest in future, right? Remember, that's what you need to always do. See your income as the seed, turn it into a harvest. Majority of that harvest, turn it back into seed, consume only a little of it, and that way you keep growing and building wealth. That's the trick that the rich know that a lot of us don't know. So remember, focus on planting your seed, taking a bit out of your harvest for your lifestyle, for consumption, and turning the remaining part of your harvest into a seed for greater harvest tomorrow. Thank you.